By the way, I just want to, as a completely unrelated side note, pussy in bio.
This podcast is hardly focused.
Ah, the French.
The Simpsons makes the news typically. They make headlines when they either kill someone off or announce plans to kill someone off. And then it always ends up being some character that you forgot about.
Right. Yeah.
Krusty's father being a poignant example.
Mm-hmm.
So then this news comes off that in the most recent episode that has aired, Cremains of the Day, they killed off a character that most of us forgot existed.
Yep.
Because I think we've only heard him speak maybe 3 times throughout the past 35 years. The character Larry.
Yeah, when I saw it was Larry, my first response was, who?
Not Larry Burns, who we only saw once, voiced by the late Rodney Dangerfield, who was pretty much just doing his bit throughout the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
But Larry the Barfly. So anytime you see Moe's Tavern...
Can somebody tell me what the hell is going on? Mitch, help me out here.
Anytime you see Moe's Tavern and the patrons at Moe's Tavern, it's always Homer, Barney, and then Larry and Sam. And Larry being the one with the comb over, longish hair, and Sam wearing the trucker hat and glasses.
Right. Yeah. Once I saw a picture of him, I recognized him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Lenny.
But just going by the name, no way.
Right. Lenny and Carl also there as well. You can't forget about Lenny and Carl. And then sometimes they'll show some like other characters too that have like no speaking parts, just generic background characters. And then famously, Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo was also a patron before running away crying because Moe squandered his name. But so Larry in this new episode just drops dead. He's just sitting at the bar and he's the lights apparently just go out. And he just drops dead. Homer, Lenny, Carl, and Barney then go to his funeral. And this is where it gets dark. And I'll preface this by saying people have been lauding this current season of the show, saying it's like one of the better ones that they've done in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but a video came up on YouTube is recommended for me from a YouTuber I watch sometimes with the title, "The latest season of The Simpsons is actually pretty good."
I refuse to believe that.
Yeah, like now keep in mind, when I last actively watched The Simpsons, like was regularly watching new episodes every week.
Yeah.
Barney was sober.
Right.
And I remember being disappointed when I found, like, at one point I saw like a mid-20s season episode just like in syndication and Barney was a drunk again. And it was probably to you, Jack. I was like, wait, what the hell? Barney is a drunk again? And you're like, oh yeah, that ship sailed 13 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, well, that's a shame.
I think they took it as far as they could with Barney being addicted to caffeine. Mm-hmm. You know, he stops drinking beer and instead just starts drinking copious amounts of coffee and then becomes a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
And I think that's had a limited number of jokes available to it. So they decided Barney's much funnier when he's a crippling alcoholic.
Yeah.
What else have they done that doesn't make any sense? I mean, Flanders getting married multiple times to
and then killing off his second wife, like in a little like end of episode reference that no one actually talks about, and then never mentioning it again.
Right.
That was strange.
Yeah, I believe all of his wives are dead.
Yeah.
I believe he's been married 3 times and all of his wives all died. A lot of changes happening over the last 35 years that just don't make any sense. And this being one of them, deciding the Larry the Barfly needed to be killed off. And but again, so this is when it gets dark. This article says that Homer and pals begin to question if they were, quote, terrible people after they realized They knew almost nothing about their late friend despite spending so much time with him. Their guilt worsened when Larry's mother revealed he would often refer to them as his, quote, best friends and asked them to share some fond memories of her son. After conjuring a fake fishing story, the grieving friends head to Larry's special place in Serenity Falls to spread his ashes. Boy, that's depressing.
Yeah, it is. I kind of get it, though. I mean, I feel like there is a certain type of guy, and this isn't totally unrelatable to me, who just isn't really that interested in talking about themselves that much.
Right.
Like, you hang out, you drink beer, you watch sports, and then if anything like interesting or important happens, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just we don't need to talk about it. Don't make it a whole thing.
Right. I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this one, but I think the last time you did the show with us and Molly was here, like I could tell you were giving out the absolute bare minimum about your life outside the show, and she was asking you questions, and I could tell your answers were like, I'm not going there.
Oh yeah, no, like, well, yeah, it's been a very intentional choice of me to have like an online persona and a real life persona, and I don't want the two to interconnect. Just like right now, like tonight, as we're recording this, I am getting absolutely cooked on Twitter for some things that I posted. And I like that not being the same group of people that know me by my real name.
Sure. Yeah, because I'm guessing on Twitter you don't advertise yourself as, being on a podcast which bears your name.
I'm just some random guy. I just have a random online pseudonym. And I want that part of my life and this part of my life to stay as separated as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on Twitter, by the way, you can find Ack as at Bob01765422. And his profile picture is him wearing a Bush Light hat standing in front of an American flag.
Boy, we just doxed some random jerk, didn't we?
It's always... No, the trolls on Twitter are always the ones who it's their first name and then a string of numbers. And it's always been that way. And they're always...
And a favorite response to that now is just ask them what the numbers mean. Say, hey, cool, interesting number string. What does it mean? And then usually they don't respond to that anymore.
No. They get caught. They get had.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like your approach, and I wish I had a similar approach, but I've always been Mr. Open Book.
Right.
I talk about almost anything that's going on in my personal life, although I do, try to... I would say our lines where we know, like, where not to cross are several miles apart. Your line is much closer to you. Mine is much longer than a stone's throw away. But that's the death of Larry. The Simpsons wiki mentioning a lot of things that nobody knew about this character. Why? Would they need to know about this? He was a background character for the last 35 years.
Right, exactly.
His last name's apparently Dalrymple.
Dalrymple. Good old Dalrymple.
And his mother's name is Iris. Okay. And then he called his Barfly group with Homer, Lenny, Carl, and Mo. He called them Mo's Bros.
And that's cute. I get that.
I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot. Every time I try to watch a new episode of The Simpsons, I feel like it's torture.
So you had sent earlier this article through digitalspy.com, just summarizing the episode. And I want to take a moment to point out, it brings up some tweets that people made about the episode. And it highlights two tweets in particular. The first one is, I can't believe they killed off Larry Dalrymple on The Simpsons last night. Hashtag RIP Larry. And the second one is, just learned they are killing off Larry on The Simpsons tomorrow. I need a minute. I'm 90% sure those are AI generated comments.
I agree. I said
there is nothing human or soulful or real about anything said there. Those are the kind of, because Twitter, you may have noticed, and by the way, I just want to, as a completely unrelated side note, pussy in bio for anyone interested. Twitter is a cesspool overrun with bots and AI accounts right now.
That's why I got rid of it.
It's basically unusable.
If you want to hack our Hardly Focused Twitter account, go ahead, because I'm not. I literally can't sign into it anymore. I removed the authentication. There's no way I can sign into that account. I'd have to go through their support to try to get back into it. So have at it.
Yeah, it's deeply bizarre now because in addition to the endless streams of hardcore pornography underneath every post, and I'm not a prude, but I don't want to be like, oh boy, new episode of Bob's Burgers this week, tweeted out by Fox. Oh, hardcore penetration in the comments. Cool. Like there's a time and a place, and you don't always want to be looking at that shit. So that's one thing. But there also has just been this epidemic of paid blue checkmark accounts that clearly just try to cobble together a response using keywords from the original post.
Yep.
So, and that's exactly what these two quotes feel like to me. They an AI skimmed an article about the issue and then put together, I can't believe they are killing off Larry Dalrymple on The Simpsons this Sunday nights on Fox. Like it's just trying to mimic human speech in the most artificial way possible.
Please wait between the hours of 9 and 5 for Officer Steve Grabowski. And don't forget, I mean, you can do it with Twitter. You can do it on Instagram, and it carries over, I think, between Facebook and Threads. I mean, earning your blue check mark is a thing of the past. You can just pay for this crap now, and it gives you benefits such as making sure your post is one of the first ones seen. And I know that is what Twitter is now. You pay for the blue check mark, and your post is going to be the first one that shows up in response to whatever thread you're looking at. And act like you mentioned. I mean, even if it is AI, it's also people just knowing that if they leave a response, they're going to get their money's worth by raking in all the views, the impressions, the engagement.
Yeah.
It's
garbage. It's a worthless system. It is terrible.
I think if Elon was intending to drive it into the ground, he succeeded.
Doing a bang-up job.
I was also going to mention, too, that the headline of this article about Larry from The Simpsons, that I disagree with it because Larry was not iconic. He was not beloved. And I don't know why fans would be distraught over this, because nobody knew or thought of this character until he was killed off.
Yeah, it's literally a joke from The Simpsons. Which beloved iconic character did The Simpsons kill off? If you guessed Larry Dalrymple, you were wrong. He was neither beloved nor iconic.
Well done. It's like if they killed off Wendell. Do you know which character Wendell is?
He's one of the kids, right?
Yes.
I can't really picture more specific than that. No.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if they killed off Lewis. You know how I know that who Wendell and Lewis are? Because when they're in the school bus and it's sinking in the ocean, and Bart says, looks like this is the end, Wendell. And Lewis goes, I'm Lewis. He's Wendell. To which Bart says, whatever. Tell Wendell I said goodbye.